Brewing lager at home is a bit more comprehensive process than brewing other beers. Therefore, this beer is less attractive for most home brewers. But let's just start from the top. This process that I'm about to go through may not be the absolute best to use when fermenting lager. But if you have never brewed lager before, this is the process you should use, as it's very simplified. When I was brewing my first batch of lager, I used this process because I wanted my very first batch of lager to be a success. And it did become a success. So let's begin. One day before you actually brew beer, you should start the starter. Pitch a 2 litre well aerated starter with an activator pack or vial of your choice lager yeast. To let it start fermenting, store this starter at room temperature, 20 degrees Celsius to 21 degrees Celsius, or 68 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. This lager yeast might secrete sulfur notes, but don't worry, this is totally normal for lager yeast. If you're brewing an original gravity lager, this beer will not result in toxic alcohol levels for the yeast. This will make for a more forgiving fermentation. When this is brewed, you will chill the wort down to a temperature under 15 degrees Celsius or 60 degrees Fahrenheit. If this is not possible for you, try to let the wort cool down in your lagering fridge before pitching. While transferring the wort to the fermenter, you have to leave the hot break and hop in the kettle. This can be achieved with whirlpooling. The wort needs to be aerated well before it's transferred into the fermenter. To obtain a healthy lager fermentation, it needs more oxygen than an ale of the same strength. The reason is to reduce the stress on the yeast. An oxygen level of 8 to 10 milligrams per litre ppm would be best achieved through 20 to 30 minutes of sterile air. Now, pitch the starter in the primary fermenter. When you can see fermentation activity, you can move the fermenter to an area with constantly 9 degrees Celsius to 11 degrees Celsius, or 48 to 52 degrees Fahrenheit. Now the primary ferment will take its course for around 2 to 4 weeks until the airlock activity stops. When the primary fermentation has finished, rack the beer into a lagering vessel. This could, for example, be another carboy. When this is performed, the beer shall be moved to another area where the ambient temperature is around 0 to 3 degrees Celsius, or 32 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Here it will remain for at least another 4 weeks. Then the 4 weeks has passed, you can rack to serving keg and forced carbonate, in case you didn't do the forced carbonation during lagering, or bottle. If you chose to bottle condition your beer, you may want to add fresh yeast with the primary sugar. The yeast in the present will not perform as well anymore when the beer is around 6 to 7 weeks old. Use a quarter to half pack of dry yeast. Let the beer carbonate at room temperature. The higher the temperature is, the faster the beer will carbonate. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.